Hello, I'm the 1% Investor, and today I'm starting a new series on what it is. Well, I think most people who are wanting to start trading stocks and beginners to trading stocks should know and want to know before they get started. So I simply look back on my experience and all the things that I did along the way. Like originally, I wanted to be a day trader. Looked into that. That was nothing that I really wanted to get into. So I think anybody who wants to be a day trader, you get into the hype of it. You want to learn how to trade first. So if you don't know how to trade, you got to learn the basics. So this is kind of where I'm going at it from. If you want to be a passive investor and you just want to put money in there, we got to understand what it is you're investing in. So again, you got to start trading a little bit, I think, just to kind of set yourself up, because otherwise you're just going to buy stocks that you hear about from somebody else, have no idea what it is that you're really getting into. All right, so to start this series off, essentially the first thing you need to have is a goal. And don't click away yet, because you're looking at it going, a goal is obviously the first thing anybody has. But when I talk to people, they don't really have goals. It's like, I want to make money. That's not a goal. They also say stuff like, I just want to get rich, or, I want to buy a Lamborghini, or I want to have $1 million. Well, that's only part of a goal. And it's really not going to help you achieve anything by investing, because investing is very technical. And in some cases, it can take a long period of time. Some cases can be really quick, depending on your luck. And that's really all it is when you start. It's luck. And if you've been doing it for a long time, you kind of earn your own luck, where good things happen when you're doing proper trading strategies. So let's go back to that thing called a goal. And if your goal can't be broken down and you don't understand how it is you're going to get to that goal, it's not really a goal. So for instance, I decided just recently with this channel, about a year ago, I was going to make $1 million doing $50 a month. Now, I set that goal. I kind of had a plan. The reason I figured I could do the $1 million is I did a spreadsheet and I broke it all down. I figured I could do it in 7 years relatively easily, and then I was going to try and speed it up to do it in 4 to 5 years. So right now I'm on track to do it on 4 to 5 if I'm still on the best case scenario. But if things get worse, it's still breaking down to about 8 years if I end up having trouble. Now, if it really all goes south, as far as like my capability of trading regularly, then what's going to happen is I'll still have all this money there, but I just won't have reached the million. I might reach a $500,000. So if I'm not able to trade consistently, that is going to be the breakdown. But I don't know how to make those changes unless I know exactly what my goal is, how I'm going to get there, how I'm going to piece everything together. All right, so back to the $1 million. I now know that if I want to do it in 4.5 years, I've roughly got to do 5% increases per week. So when I'm trading, I want to do a trade of a 1% gain, and I want to do that 5 times a week. That sounds a little bit more reasonable than saying to make $1 million in 5 years, I'm just going to make $200,000 a year. Now, maybe you make over $200,000 a year, but can you save $200,000 a year, right? Mine actually puts it in the situation where even if you don't make that much money, if you're making less than 20 bucks an hour, you can still probably come up with $50 a month if you rearrange your life. That $50 a month can then be traded on a daily basis. Now, if you do have lots of money, you probably don't want to risk a lot of money. So starting small actually makes a lot of sense until you have a good idea what you're doing with trading. And there's lots of strategies you can build on to this that will give you a lot more income quicker, but they take a lot of time, take a lot of energy. And if you don't understand them, you can lose money just as easily as gaining money. So starting small makes a lot of sense. Having a specific goal, $1 million. Having a timeline, 4.5 to 5 years, now starts to make sense. Now, if I'm putting $50 a month in, $50 a month doesn't really add up to $1 million in 5 years. So the trading, the compounding is what's going to make it happen, right? So now I've got a goal, I've got a plan. I can now decide my strategy is that I'm going to do day trades for 1% gains. I'm not going to go for big trades. I also don't sell for a loss, because any day trader that's actually a day trader will have a jump out point. So if they don't make their gain and all of a sudden it starts going down and they're losing 1%, they're going to jump out. Now, from what I've heard, 1% is what a day trader does if they lose 1%. But if you know what you're doing, you're going to hit that negative 1% over and over and over again, and not hit the 20, 30, 40% that the really good day traders hit on a regular basis. So now they don't hit it every day, but they hit it enough that they're well ahead of the minuses. If you're minusing 20 days out of the month, you are going to want to hit that 30, 40% very consistently. If you only hit it once a month, you are losing a lot of your profit. All right, so that's a lot of blustering, just to say you need to have a goal. But now that you have a goal, you have a plan. We also kind of have talked about a little bit of my strategy of not selling for a loss, only taking 1% gains. You can start building on this strategy and how you're going to make it happen. You can also start now determining what kind of stocks you're looking for, because the stocks you're looking for also kind of start talking about what kind of risk that you're going to have while you're trading. The types of stocks I go for, a lot less risk. So now that I've got that base, I can go ahead and start planning out a lot of other things with my stock trading. So I hope you'll stick with me. Check out my next video. I do have a link down before for the broker I use, and we'll be talking about brokers in a future video. So check out that link if you need a new online broker. See you for the next video.